Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well and thank you for spending a few more minutes with me and looking into some Medicare options for next year. If you've been with me for a few years now, I always use these videos not only to remind you that the Medicare Annual Enrollment Period is coming up, but also to give you some general updates coming up with Medicare next year. Now, the title of this video is Part 2, which means that last week I sent out Part 1, introducing us to the impact of the Inflation Reduction Act on Medicare in 2025. Now, if you want to know the hows and whys, I sent you that video back on September 23rd. So you can check back in your text messages or your emails. If you can't find it, just let me know and I'll send it to you. But if you watched my Part 1 video, the Inflation Reduction Act has made this Medicare Annual Enrollment Period more important and impactful than ever before. For 2025, we're expecting some unprecedented changes to the Medicare program, specifically around the prescription drug plans, but also some consequences with increased costs, plan terminations, and even loss of doctors. Now, as you can tell, this is very important information, and that's why we're getting a little bit of a head start. Open enrollment starts October 15th, but I also want to ask you to share this text or email with your friends and family that are on Medicare because they need to know this information. By now, you should have received your annual notice of change, we call it ANOC, A-N-O-C, from your Medicare insurance company. Please take a moment to take a look at that. Now, sometimes the ANOC is a little bit long and confusing. So focus on those interior pages that do kind of a side-by-side comparison on what's changing in 2025 compared to 2024. That's going to be your first clue as to how your specific plan will change next year. Now, some of the main changes many people can expect are going to be increased medication and drug plan costs. Some people are actually going to have lower medication costs. It just all depends on your specific situation. Now, one of the biggest impacts in Los Angeles County will be for those of you who use UCLA for your medical network. Now, if you're paying separately for a Medicare supplement plan, Plan F, Plan G, Plan N, this does not apply to you. You can continue using UCLA, but if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, we need to talk. Now, we still have some PPO options for people who want to have a little bit more choice of providers. PPOs, of course, do not require referrals and authorizations like an HMO does. Prescription medications are one of the main things we focus on during the annual review, and we're going to be seeing a lot of changes to prescription drug costs next year. Now, because of the Inflation Reduction Act, there will be, for the first time, a cap on medications, which is going to be $2,000. And there will be no more donut hole. Some of you know what that is. It's when your medication costs suddenly increase sometime during the course of the year. And so, especially if you're taking brand name or more expensive medications, let's set up a review to make sure the plan you're on this year is the most cost effective for next year. Now, if you are on Medi-Cal, state of California, for low income, you're most likely also on a program called LIS, Low Income Subsidy, or Extra Help. These changes will not affect you. Because of your Extra Help eligibility, you will continue to pay low costs for all of your medications. Also, for my clients out there that have both Medicare and Medi-Cal, the Medicare Advantage dual special needs plans are continuing to grow and may help you maximize your healthcare options and savings. If you are on a Medicare supplement plan, I know that premiums have been going up these last couple of years. I told you they would. I also told you to feel free to let me know how much you're paying now, and I can shop your rate and see if there are any companies offering any meaningful cost savings for the exact same plan. Next, I want to touch on something that I hear all the time, and I'm sure you'll agree. What's with all the Medicare phone call solicitations? Well, unfortunately, these do continue to be a nuisance for many people, and the government is trying to combat these calls. I strongly urge you, do not engage in conversation. I've seen so many instances of people getting talked into switching their plan, and they end up losing their doctors, they get put on the wrong plan, their costs go up, and many more such stories. And so especially this year, with all of the changes with the Inflation Reduction Act, I'm here to help you with your Medicare plan year after year. Remember this, Medicare does not allow unsolicited phone calls to beneficiaries. So all these people that are calling you without your permission, they're in violation of Medicare compliance, and they're beginning a relationship with you in bad faith. If you hear of a plan that sounds interesting to you, just call me. I'll tell you if your plan has any of those benefits or if you're even eligible for it. Please avoid these calls. And especially if you're on original Medicare, regular Medicare, paying for a Medicare supplement, plan F, G, or N, and you have a separate Part D prescription drug plan, please be extra careful of calls from your drug plan or anyone else offering you to switch to Medicare Advantage and luring you with extra benefits and cost savings. Agreeing to this change could have consequences to your access to your doctors and healthcare options in general for the rest of your life. So please, if you're offered something, call me so I can advise you on the pros and the cons. Almost every day, we're finding opportunities to cut costs and to get more choices of providers and benefits. So if it's been a few years since we've reviewed your Medicare plan, please use the link to schedule your review. And please urge your friends to give me a call, especially if they're already on Medicare. You and I may wind up being heroes with all of these changes because of the Inflation Reduction Act. So, as always, I'm wishing everyone a great rest of the year, a great holiday season and New Year, and lots of health and happiness for you and your families. Please reach out to me, your licensed insurance agent, and if you have any questions about your Medicare plan, your medication costs, your providers, I'll be happy to help you out. That's what I'm here for. I'll be booking appointments throughout all of the annual enrollment period, which goes from October 15 to December 7. So please use the link to schedule your time. Again, we have until December 7th, so schedule a time on my calendar through the link in this text or email, and I'm going to look forward to talking to you and helping you with your Medicare plan options. Thank you very much.